Okay, so listeners get this. You were almost right to write off Mythic back in late 2022.
Oh, yeah.
They were practically on life support,
Yeah.
nearly out of cash with barely any revenue.
It was not looking good.
But then, boom,
Yeah.
a $13 million lifeline appears in March 2023.
Out of nowhere.
And suddenly they're back in the game.
Makes you wonder.
So what's so special about this company that investors are still willing to bet on them?
That is the question.
That's what we're going to find out today in our deep dive into Mythic.
Absolutely.
We'll be taking all those articles and reports you sent over and distilling them down to the absolute must-knows
Let's get to it.
about Mythic.
Okay, so what's fascinating here is you're not just trying to build a faster chip.
Right.
Mythic is challenging the fundamental assumptions of AI hardware
Interesting.
by using analog computing, which is practically unheard of in this field.
Well, really?
Yeah, they're betting that analog, with its potential for incredible efficiency, is the key to unlocking the next level of AI, especially at the edge.
Wait, hold on. Analog.
Yeah.
Isn't that like going back to the Stone Age of computing? I mean, digital's king for a reason, right?
Well, that's the prevailing wisdom for sure.
Yeah.
But Mythic is turning that on its head.
How so?
So you see digital AI, as powerful as it is, runs into a wall when it comes to efficiency.
Okay.
You've got the processor, the brain, separated from the memory, the library where the AI model's information is stored.
Okay.
And every time the brain needs a piece of information, it has to go back and forth to the library.
I see.
All that data movement eats up power and creates a bottleneck.
So it's like trying to write a novel by running back and forth to the library for every sentence.
Exactly.
Not very efficient.
And that's what Mythic is tackling head-on with their analog compute-in-memory approach.
Okay, so tell me more.
Basically combining the brain and the library.
Wow.
By putting the AI model's information directly into the processing unit itself. It's a radical idea, but if it works, it could completely change the game.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, so no more running back and forth.
Nope.
But how does this analog magic actually work? I'm guessing it's not smoke and mirror.
No, it's definitely more science than magic.
Okay, good.
So they use flash memory.
Yeah.
The same kind we have in our phones and laptops, but with a twist.
Interesting. A twist. How?
Instead of storing data in the conventional way, they use the physical properties of the flash memory cells.
Okay.
Specifically, their electrical resistance to perform calculations.
Hold on. They're doing calculations with memory?
They are.
That sounds a little mind-bending.
It is.
Yeah.
But the type of calculation they're doing is key matrix multiplication, which is at the heart of almost every AI algorithm.
Got it.
To visualize it, think of a network of water pipes.
Okay. I like where this is going.
The amount of water flowing through each pipe represents the input data.
Interesting.
And the resistance of each pipe, controlled by a valve, represents the AI model's information.
I'm with you.
By carefully adjusting these valves.
So those are like...
which are actually programmed charges in the flash memory.
Oh, I see.
They can control the flow of data.
Okay.
And perform complex calculations right there in the memory itself.
So they've created like a tiny, super efficient water park inside their chip.
Yeah.
And it's crunching AI calculations instead of making kids scream with delight. I'm starting to see why investors are intrigued.
It is a pretty elegant solution.
It is.
And because the processing happens right where the data is stored, they eliminate that costly data movement bottleneck that plagues digital AI.
Right.
This translates to incredible efficiency, doing more computations with a fraction of the power.
Okay, but if analog is so efficient, why hasn't anyone done this before?
Yeah.
There must be a catch, right? What's the trade-off?
You're right to be skeptical.
Yeah.
Analog computing does have its downsides.
Like what?
One of the biggest is noise.
Noise.
Yeah, analog signals. Unlike their digital counterparts, are susceptible to interference and distortion.
Okay.
Imagine trying to whisper a secret in a noisy room.
Yeah.
The message can easily get garbled.
So it's like baking. Sometimes you need that precise digital measurement.
Right.
And sometimes the little analog improvisation is okay.
Yeah.
As long as the cake doesn't completely collapse.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
And Mythic is well aware of these limitations.
Okay, good.
They've spent years developing sophisticated circuit designs and calibration techniques to minimize noise and improve accuracy.
That makes sense.
They're also taking a hybrid approach.
Interesting.
Combining analog and digital components to leverage the strengths of both worlds.
So it's not a blind leap into the analog abyss, but more like a carefully calculated tightrope walk.
Exactly.
Ah,
They're constantly refining their technology.
good.
They even have a Gen 2 design in the works.
Gen 2, what's that?
It's a chiplet design,
Okay.
using a cost-effective 28mm process
Uh-huh.
that promises even better performance and scalability.
Nice.
Now, all of this brings us to their flagship product,
Okay, let's hear about it.
the M10076 Analog Matrix Processor, or AMP.
AMP.
And
Okay.
this chip is, well, let's just say it's causing a stir.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me the juicy details. What makes this AMP chip so special?
Well, this little chip packs a punch.
Okay.
It can handle a whopping 25 trillion operations per second.
Whoa.
That's 25 TOPS,
25 TOPS.
while sipping a mere 3 to 4 watts of power.
Wait, hold on. Did you say
Yeah.
it uses less power than a standard light bulb?
You heard that right?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculously efficient.
Okay, color me impressed. But where does this power-sipping powerhouse actually fit in? What can you do with a chip like that?
That's what makes Mythic even more interesting.
Okay,
They're not limiting themselves to one specific market.
I see.
They're offering the AMP in a variety of formats,
Yeah.
from M2 cards for edge devices and servers
Uh-huh.
to PCIe cards for high-performance applications. We're talking robotics, smart homes, drones, surveillance systems, even data centers.
So you're telling me that this chip,
Yeah,
which uses less energy than my bedside lamp,
less.
can potentially power the AI that's driving our cars and guarding our homes.
That's the vision.
Wow.
And to help developers get started, they've created a DNN model library
Okay, what's that?
with pre-optimized models for common AI tasks.
So things like,
We're talking object detection scenes, segmentation, human pose estimation, the building blocks for a whole range of AI applications.
so they're not just throwing this chip over the wall and saying, good luck, figure it out.
No.
They're providing the tools and resources
They are.
to make it easier for developers to jump on the analog AI bandwagon.
Exactly. They're trying to build an ecosystem around their technologies.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got an intriguing technology, a power-sipping chip, and a company with a diverse market strategy.
Sounds good so far, right?
Yeah. But the AI world is a competitive jungle.
It is.
Who are they going up against in this battle for AI dominance?
Well, the big gorilla in the room is obviously NVIDIA,
Oh, yeah, of course.
with their incredibly powerful GPUs that dominate data centers and high-performance computing.
Right.
But Mythic isn't trying to go head-to-head with them.
Okay.
They're carving out a different niche, low-power, high-efficiency AI for the edge,
I see.
where power constraints and size limitations are paramount.
So it's more like David and Goliath with Mythic targeting a different battlefield altogether.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But it's not just NVIDIA they have to worry about.
Right, of course not.
There's Intel Habana Graphcore and a whole host of other startups trying to make their mark in the AI hardware landscape.
So how does Mythic stand out in this crowded field? What's their secret weapon in this AI arms race?
It really comes down to 3 key differentiators.
Okay, yeah, like lists hit me.
First, their power and cost efficiency are simply in a different league.
Uh-huh.
They're talking about orders of magnitude improvements compared to traditional digital approaches. Second, their technology is more scalable across different platforms, from tiny edge devices to powerful servers.
Okay,
And finally, their analog technology is far more mature than many of their competitors,
gotcha.
who are just starting to dip their toes into the analog water.
So they've got the efficiency, the scalability, and the experience.
That's a pretty potent combination.
That's a pretty potent combination. But let's be honest, nearly going bankrupt in late 2022 doesn't exactly scream financial stability, right?
True.
How are they doing on that front?
That near-death experience was definitely a wake-up call.
Yeah.
But remember that $13 million funding round they secured in March 2023?
Yeah.
That wasn't just from existing investors doubling down.
Uh-huh.
It included new investors who clearly see the potential in Mythic's approach.
Okay, so they've got some believers, but who's steering this ship? Who's the captain guiding them through these treacherous waters?
That would be Dr. Tanner Oselic,
Okay.
who joined as CEO in June 2024.
June 2024, and what's his background?
This guy is no stranger to success in the tech world.
Really?
He was instrumental in building NVIDIA's automotive division into a multi-hundred-million-dollar business.
Wow.
He knows how to navigate the complexities of the semiconductor industry and turn promising technology into real-world success.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they've got a seasoned CEO with a proven track record,
Uh-huh.
a unique technology,
Yeah.
and a growing market.
For sure.
It sounds like they've got all the ingredients for a blockbuster success story.
They just might.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. What are the potential pitfalls, the sharks lurking in the water that could derail Mythic's grand ambitions?
You're right, every journey has its perils.
Yeah.
And for Mythic, one of the biggest risks lies in the very nature of their chosen path, analog computing.
Okay, now that we've laid the groundwork, let's dive into those risks and see if Mythic can really navigate those treacherous waters and become the next big thing in AI.
As we were saying, the inherent nature of analog computing poses some pretty significant risks for Mythic.
Yeah.
We've already touched on the noise and precision issues.
Right.
But those challenges are magnified when you're talking about AI, where accuracy and reliability are paramount.
Right. A self-driving car powered by an AI that's a bit fuzzy on the details doesn't exactly inspire confidence, does it?
Not exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a major hurdle for Mythic to overcome.
Yeah.
They need to convince not just investors, but also developers and ultimately end users that their analog chips can deliver the same level of performance and reliability as their digital counterparts.
It's like trying to sell someone a car that runs on a revolutionary new fuel source.
Okay.
No matter how efficient it is,
Right.
people are going to be hesitant if they're not sure it can get them where they need to go safely and reliably.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it's not just about proving their technology works.
Right.
They also have to contend with the sheer momentum of the digital AI
Well,
world.
of course.
Developers are used to working with certain tools and frameworks, and there's a lot of inertia to overcome
Sure.
to convince them to adopt a radically different approach.
So even if they crack the technical challenges,
Right.
there's a whole other battle to be fought on the adoption front, convincing people to switch horses midstream, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the financial hurdles.
Oh, right. Money always comes into play.
The semiconductor industry is notoriously capital intensive,
For sure.
and Mythic is swimming with some pretty big sharks.
Like who?
NVIDIA, Intel. These are companies with vast resources and established supply chains.
Right, and Mythic almost went belly up just a year ago.
It wasn't pretty.
Even with that new funding, they're still playing catch up in a very expensive game.
Absolutely. They need to generate revenue and quickly
To stay afloat.
to prove their business model is viable.
I see.
And that means securing those big design wins with companies that can actually bring their chips to market in large volumes.
Okay.
They need to convince companies to take a chance on their technology.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy when you're going up against established players with proven track record.
Yeah. So they're fighting a war on multiple fronts, proving their technology, winning over developers, securing funding, and outmaneuvering their competitors. That sounds pretty daunting.
It is, and we haven't even talked about the bigger picture yet.
Which is
Those macroeconomic factors you mentioned earlier.
Oh, right, the economy.
Inflation, rising interest rates, and the looming threat of a recession are casting a long shadow over the entire tech industry.
Yeah. No one's immune to that.
And Mythic is not immune to those forces.
Right. Even if they have the best technology in the world, they could still get caught in a wider economic downturn.
Yeah.
It's like trying to launch a boat in the middle of a hurricane.
That's a vivid image.
Yeah.
And then there's the wild card,
Okay, there's always a wild card. What is it?
quantum computing.
Oh, wow.
It's still early days,
For sure.
but quantum computers have the potential to completely disrupt the AI landscape, potentially outperforming both analog and digital approaches for certain tasks.
So Mythic is pouring their heart and soul into this analog approach, and then this quantum tsunami potentially comes along and washes it all away. Talk about bad timing.
It's definitely a risk they need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure.
The emergence of quantum computing could shift the entire AI landscape, and Mythic needs to be prepared to adapt if necessary.
Okay.
Maybe even find ways to integrate quantum technologies into their own roadmap down the line.
So flexibility and adaptability are key in this ever-evolving tech world.
Absolutely.
They can't afford to be too fixated on one path, no matter how promising it seems today.
Agreed.
Okay, we've covered the risks, and it sounds like they've got their work cut out for them.
They do.
But what about the flip side, the potential rewards?
Ah, yes, the upside.
We talked about acquisition and IPO as possible exit strategies.
Right.
But what are the pros and cons of each path? And which one seems more likely given everything we've discussed?
Okay, so let's start with acquisition.
Okay,
The allure here is obvious.
I imagine so.
A deep-pocketed company like Intel, Qualcomm, Samsung, or even one of the cloud giants swoops in, writes a big check.
Yeah.
And suddenly Mythic has access to a whole new level of resources and expertise.
It's like joining forces with a superhero overnight. They've got the muscle to take on the world.
Exactly. It would give them the financial stability to focus on research and development, accelerate their product roadmap, and expand into new markets.
Right.
They could leverage the acquiring company's manufacturing capabilities, supply chains, and global reach.
It sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
What's the catch?
Well, as with any acquisition, there's always the risk of losing control.
I see.
Mythic's vision and priorities might not align perfectly with those of the acquiring company.
Hmm.
And there's no guarantee that their technology would be fully embraced or that their team would be integrated successfully.
So it's like joining a big family. You get the benefits of belonging,
Yeah.
but you also have to play by the family's rules. And
Yeah.
sometimes those rules might not be what's best for you.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, on the IPO front, the main advantage is independence.
Okay, independence, that's a big one.
Going public would allow Mythic to raise a significant amount of capital while retaining control over their destiny.
I see.
They could chart their own course, make their own decisions, and pursue their own vision without having to answer to a larger corporate entity.
It's like declaring independence. They're free to forge their own path, but they're also on their own, facing all the challenges and uncertainties that come with being a publicly traded company.
Exactly. An IPO would also raise their profile, significantly attracting more talent customers and partners. It would signal to the world that they're a serious player in the AI game.
But it also comes with a whole new set of pressures and responsibilities.
It does.
They'd be under intense scrutiny from investors, analysts, and regulators.
Yeah.
They'd have to meet quarterly earnings expectations, navigate a complex regulatory landscape, and deal with the constant pressure to deliver shareholder value.
It's a trade-off: independence and growth potential in exchange for increased scrutiny and accountability.
So which path seems more likely given their current situation and the risks and rewards we've discussed? Do you see them being more likely to get acquired or to go public?
It's a tough call right now. I'd say acquisition seems slightly more probable.
Why is that?
Their near bankruptcy experience suggests they might be more receptive to a buyout, especially if it comes from a company that aligns with their vision and values.
Plus, a large company could provide the stability and resources they need to really scale up and compete on a global level.
That's right.
But an IPO is certainly not out of the question, especially if they can demonstrate strong growth and a clear path to profitability in the next year or two.
Absolutely. A successful IPO would give them a war chest to expand their operations,
Yeah.
acquire strategic assets, and perhaps even make some acquisitions of their own.
Oh, wow.
They could become the acquirer rather than the acquired.
That would be a dramatic twist.
It would.
From near bankruptcy to a buying spree.
Yeah.
It would certainly be a testament to their resilience and ambition, but regardless of which path they choose. One thing is clear. Mythic is a company that's not afraid to take risks and challenge the status quo.
Their story is a reminder that innovation often comes from those who are willing to venture outside the comfort zone,
Yeah.
to explore uncharted territories, and to bet on ideas that others might dismiss as too radical or too risky.
And sometimes those bold bets pay off in a big way.
They do.
But even if they don't achieve their ultimate goals, their journey will undoubtedly inspire others to think differently, to push the boundaries, and to keep searching for those breakthrough innovations that can change the world.
For sure.
Okay, I think we've covered a lot of ground here: the technology, the market, the competition, the risks, the rewards, the potential exit strategies.
We have.
But before we wrap up, let's take a step back and consider the broader implications of Mythic's work. So what does Mythic's story tell us about the future of AI, and maybe even about innovation in general?
Well, their story is a powerful reminder that, sometimes you got to challenge the status quo.
Yeah, I like that.
For years, the assumption has been that bigger, faster, more powerful digital processors are the only way to advance AI.
Right, everyone wants to just keep throwing more compute at the problem.
Exactly. But Mythic is proving that there's another way, a more elegant, more efficient way.
How so?
They're drawing inspiration from the way our own brains work.
So it's almost like they're saying, hey, everyone's focused on building bigger and faster horses, but what if we could fly?
Exactly. And, their success or even their valiant attempt could spark a ripple effect throughout the industry.
Interesting, how so?
While other companies, even the big players,
Uh-huh.
might start to take notice
Yeah.
and invest more in analog computing,
Okay.
leading to a whole new wave of innovation.
So Mythic could be the catalyst that shifts the entire AI landscape,
Potentially.
forcing everyone to rethink the fundamental assumptions about how we build intelligent machines.
It's certainly possible.
Why?
And the implication, they extend far beyond AI.
Where else?
Analog computing has the potential to revolutionize a wide range of fields.
Okay, give me some examples.
From signal processing and sensor technology to medical diagnostics and drug discovery.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
It's exciting to imagine a world where analog and digital computing coexist, each playing to its strengths, creating a more diverse and robust technological ecosystem.
For sure.
And as we become increasingly reliant on AI, Mythic's focus on low-power, high-efficiency solutions couldn't be more timely.
You're absolutely right. In a world grappling with climate change and resource constraints, the
Mhm.
need for sustainable computing is more urgent than ever.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Mythic's analog chips, with their remarkably low power consumption, could be a game changer for
Oh,
everything from smartphones and laptops to data centers and smart cities.
imagine a world where your phone can last for a week on a single charge,
That would be amazing.
where data centers consume a fraction of the energy they do today,
Right.
and where AI-powered devices can operate autonomously for months or even years without needing to be plugged in.
That's the promise of Mythic's technology.
It's a powerful vision.
It is a vision that's worth fighting for.
It's a vision that has the potential to not just change the tech industry, but to change the world.
I agree.
And even if they face setbacks along the way,
Right.
even if they don't achieve every single goal they've set for themselves, their journey will undoubtedly inspire others to think differently,
Yeah.
to push the boundaries,
Yeah.
and to never give up on the pursuit of groundbreaking innovation.
Their story is a reminder that innovation is not a destination. It's a journey.
I like that.
It's about constantly questioning, exploring, experimenting, and pushing the limits of what's possible.
Hmm.
And it's about having the courage to bet on ideas that others might dismiss as crazy or unrealistic.
Because sometimes those crazy ideas turn out to be the ones that change the world.
They do.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Mythic, I think the key takeaway is this.
What's that?
The future of AI, and indeed the future of technology as a whole, is full of possibilities, both exciting and daunting. And it's up to companies like Mythic, with their bold vision and unwavering determination, to lead the way and show us what's possible.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I have a feeling we'll be hearing a lot more about Mythic in the years to come. Their story is far from over.
Well, on that note, we'll leave you to ponder the possibilities. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Mythic and analog AI. And remember, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries, because who knows, you might just stumble upon the next big breakthrough that changes the world.